Hey Doom Nation, it's Skags here, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Two Doom Men. If you like what we are about, help us spread the message by subscribing to our channels and sharing the show with your friends. That's the best way we can get around big tech's algorithms. You can also help support the work we do by subscribing to our Patreon account at patreon.com/2doommen, or by going to linktree.com/2doommen. That will bring you to everywhere our show has a presence. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the show.
This country is doomed. It is doomed.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Doom Nation, what's up? We are back once again. You are listening to the Two Doom Men podcast, and we are back in the captain's quarters after quite the absence here. I've been here, you haven't.
Well, you've been here, you live here, so.
Unfortunately, I live here. So as always, it's Skags and your captain, and what do we got on the agenda for today? What agenda are we pushing today?
We're pushing the Two Doom Men agenda. So I want to talk without a doubt about the Rolling Stone article.
This was fantastic what you did.
And I did a little journalism of my own. I want to talk about Dr. Fauci is in hot water again. Some new information about the gain-of-function research and the funding came out today. Came out earlier this morning. We're going to talk about that. And those are my 2 points.
And then very small topics for me. The new COVID MU. It's funny because in our group, we call each other Muse, and it's short term for mutant. So this is the mutant COVID variant. And Kamala Harris is, with everything that's going on, is taking a trip to California to campaign for Gavin Newsome.
That's her homeboy, bro.
With
They're all lizard people.
Yeah,
Lizard people stick together. They got to look out for each other.
I guess so, but she kept her mouth shut all throughout Afghanistan, and now just leaves D.C. to go help campaign for a state elected official that the state wants removed.
Yeah, of course. You know what's funny? She didn't really keep her mouth shut during Afghanistan. I just found this out. She was busy in Vietnam.
In Asia,
lobbying for basically more interventionism. I believe in regards to like China and some other military ops there.
Yeah,
that would have to be looked into more. But she wasn't just
hiding,
dicking around. She was pushing the agenda for more
makes sense
foreign wars further. Let's get into this first story though. So let's
the Rolling Stones one?
Let's start off.
This
with
was fantastic.
So on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
On Saturday, the captain and I we were getting fitted for tuxedos.
Yep.
And
which could be a podcast in its own.
Yes, it could have been.
What a nightmare.
We were at this store for about 2 hours, and the guy took forever to fit us. So I was, I was messing around on my phone, looking on Twitter, and I saw a tweet by the Rolling Stone magazine, and it said, "Gunshot victims left waiting as horse dewormer overdoses overwhelm Oklahoma hospitals," doctor says. My phone almost fell out of my hand, and I was trying to show Cap. I was like, "Look, this can't be real. This has to be fake news. I need to do something about this."
I got to say, it's pretty interesting to see that like propaganda and like fake news has made it all the way to Rolling Stones magazine.
Yeah. So, since Saturday, they've now changed the title of the article.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't originally.
No,
they
didn't.
changed the article, but they kept the headline.
But let's read the article here first. So if you go to Rolling Stone, it says, "The rise in people using ivermectin, an anti-parasitic drug usually reserved for deworming horses or livestock as a treatment or preventative for COVID-19, has emergency rooms so backed up that gunshot victims are having hard times getting access to health facilities," an emergency room doctor in Oklahoma said. Real quick disclaimer, COVID-19 and ivermectin. Ivermectin is not approved for use in treating COVID-19. So don't take it. Don't use it. We're not doctors also, so don't take any medical advice from us. Back to the article. This week, Dr. Jason McCalia told KFOR that overdoses are causing backlogs in rural hospitals, leaving both beds and ambulance services scarce. The ERs are so backed up that gunshot victims were having hard times getting to facilities where they can get definitive care and be treated. So that's the gist of the story.
Yeah.
They're saying that so many people have overdosed on ivermectin that the hospitals the emergency rooms are so backed up that gunshot wound victims can't be seen, and they're basically being told to fuck off.
So do you want to get into the nonsense of this, or do you want to get into your little James Bondish moves you pulled?
So, well, let's talk about it first, right? Because within a few hours, the hospital in question that this guy James was from immediately was like, "No, this is not true," and they put out a statement, which I have here. It's called NHS Sequoia. It said that its ER has not treated any ivermectin overdoses and that it has not had to turn away anyone seeking care. This and other hospitals that the doctors group serves did not respond to requests for comment. They're saying that this is Rolling Stone saying that. They were also saying this hospital's also saying that this guy hasn't worked there in a few months.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't know anyway.
Where do you even get the, like, as a journalist writing this for the Rolling Stones, like, what did you la-di-da-di-do, and just make up stories?
They got the information from a local Oklahoma news station, which spoke with the guy. So basically, this guy goes on a local Oklahoma news station, spews some nonsense. The Rolling Stone picks it up, writes a whole article about it, and puts it on Twitter. It gets reshared. Thousands of likes. Rachel Maddow picks it up from MSNBC.
Still hasn't changed her tweet.
Change it, right? And I'll get into all that. A lot of notable people started commenting on it, sharing. Look, the idiot's taking ivermectin, the horse dewormer, like we spoke about in our last episode. There's the push to make it synonymous with only horse dewormer.
And this is days after Joe Rogan got COVID.
Right, that's another angle to it too, because Joe Rogan said he took ivermectin, which is not approved. He decided to take it anyway.
Yep.
And what's funny about that is, like, what do you think? Joe Rogan has like a straw in some horse dewormer and is just taking that. Joe Rogan is a multi-hundred millionaire.
Yep.
He has access to like the best healthcare anybody could possibly have. Doctors. I'm sure whatever he did was through his doctor.
Yeah, it wasn't a horse dewormer.
Right.
And that's the other problem with this whole, I'm calling it a misinformation push about ivermectin. Once again, we are not doctors, but the facts are the facts. Ivermectin is used widely past horse deworming.
Right.
For the fact that
it is used for that.
Yes,
but
it is used, but there is
humans. It is used for not COVID, but other
multiple uses in humans for other viruses and issues. Things like head lice, you could use ivermectin to get rid of. So the crazy thing to me about it is they just latched on to horse dewormer across all of mainstream media. Like Joe Rogan.
It's a misinformation campaign.
Like Joe Rogan, instead of going to the hospital, went to the veterinary clinic and was like, "Yeah, I got horseworms in my heart. Like, give me some of that."
No,
shit.
he went to Tractor Supply, and and he stuck a straw in one of those big jugs, and he drank that. It's a misinformation campaign. So, Rolling Stone did put up on the article. They have changed it now. The article's headline to "One Hospital Denies Oklahoma Doctor's Story of Ivermectin Overdoses, Causing ER Delays for Gunshot Victims." And then they put in like a little update here. But they didn't change the tweet. You can't really change a tweet, but they didn't delete it or anything like that. They just replied to themselves underneath with the update. But they're being clear. One hospital denies Oklahoma doctor's story, right? So what's messed up about this whole situation is that they didn't do any real journalism.
None.
Neither did Rachel Maddow, right? That's the biggest, most egregious violation of journalism, right? You're talking about Rachel Maddow, who is a journalist,
who's
MSNBC, who's a news organization. They didn't send out any journalists to like gather more information or make calls. I mean, maybe they did and they didn't get the response or the answer they wanted. So maybe they didn't print it.
But they still printed that. Like who? You're saying Rachel
Maddow's crew, right?
Right.
Because she reshared this story. And this is Rachel Maddow. This is like a high noteworthy person. So maybe they did go and like fact check and they didn't get the like the information that they wanted.
Right.
So
They just
ran with this and just ignored it, right? But two doomed men went and
Yep.
did some fact checking, right? I did some real journalism, and I called some hospitals in Oklahoma, and I called them strategically. I called 4 hospitals. I didn't call the one that this is referring to because they already gave a statement, so I left them out of it. I'm not going to name the hospitals either because I'm going to play the people on the phone, and I don't want them to get in trouble. But I called 2 hospitals that were in rural areas and 2 hospitals that were in Oklahoma City to try and get a different demographic, right? Because Oklahoma City is way more populated than the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. So I'm going to first play. Well, they're back to back. I'm going to first play the rural. Only 2 of them even gave me an answer. Let me just be clear, right? Only 2 of them gave me an answer. The other 2 didn't want to give me the information. Like they didn't want to disclose any information at all. Right. They didn't say yes or no. So let's play this back. I'm going to push this button here. Hi, my name is Michael Scaglione. I'm a journalist for the Two Doomed Men podcast. I'm just calling you guys in regards to a story that I read on Rolling Stone magazine 2 days ago, and it's regarding Oklahoma hospitals being overwhelmed due to an influx of patients that are overdosing on ivermectin. I was wondering if that's something you guys have been dealing with at your hospital.
Hang on, and I'm going to let you talk to Lorian, okay?
Okay, thank you.
This is a reporter. He's read a story in the Rolling Stones magazine that everybody's taking too much ivermectin, and he's wanting to know if there's a problem and what's going on in the state of Oklahoma.
We don't know. We haven't given any in this regard.
We haven't given the ivermectin? So, we haven't given the ivermectin, or we haven't dealt with that?
We haven't given any.
Okay, sir, we do not give the ivermectin in this ER, so.
Okay, yeah, the story was saying that patients are coming into the hospital because they're overdosing on taking ivermectin, like on their own, by their own personal accord. So my question is, have you guys been dealing with patients coming into maybe the emergency room that are overdosing themselves on this drug?
Okay. We want to know if we're dealing with patients over medicating themselves on it and overdosing.
Not so far.
No, not so far. We have not.
All right, thank you. I was just generally curious, so I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Integrated Community Hospital, Constant Crossing. How can I help you?
Hi, good morning. My name is Michael Scaglione, and I'm a journalist for the Two Doomed Men podcast. I'm just calling you guys in regards to a story that I read on Rolling Stone magazine 2 days ago. It was regarding Oklahoma hospitals being overwhelmed due to an influx of patients that are overdosing by self-medicating on ivermectin. I was wondering if that's something you've been seeing or dealing with at your hospital.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Doom Nation, let's give it up for real journalism.
Yeah, I mean,
that was fantastic.
I'm not a journalist, obviously, but it's funny how I had to announce myself. I Googled this ahead of time. Like, how do you, if you're looking for information officially, how do you do it? It's Rachel Maddow could have done this.
There's somebody on her team that probably is in charge of this.
But yeah, you heard it yourself. Like I said, one was rural, one was in Oklahoma City. The second lady just was right off the bat, was like no. The other woman, God bless her heart, she had to check with the supervisor, and I made sure to. I tried to be clear because they thought I meant.
Are they giving it out?
Are they giving people ivermectin? Which she said no. I said no. It's people overdosing on their own accord. Are you dealing with them? And they said no. So those are 2 hospitals, right? I called 2 others, but they didn't want to give me any information. One of the ladies from the other 2 was really excited and interesting. She's like, "This is the most interesting phone call I've ever had," and she seemed so excited to want to talk to me. Put me on hold. Spoke with the supervisor. She's like, "I can't talk to you about this." So, look. So that's 3 in total. There's the original hospital, and then these other 2 in Oklahoma. There's only 10 to 20 hospitals in Oklahoma General. So
it makes you think, why did the Rolling Stones of all magazines come up with this story to begin with? It's now been completely picked apart by, I mean, we're in the world of journalism, we're the bottom of the barrel, you know.
Right.
Rachel Meadows over there.
Right. The fact that I had to go and do this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that this is what we're always saying, people. If the two of us can debunk this and Skaggs can make 1-2 phone calls and this whole story that is making headline news and is going viral, if we could debunk it, you could debunk it. It's, you know, this is medical misinformation going about.
Yeah, and to be fair, obviously it wasn't just us that was calling this out or trying to debunk it. You know, there was other, made like good reporters that do still exist were immediately, just like us, were like, what? This doesn't sound right. And they also debunked it. Thing is, here we are. We have stuff to do, so we're on Wednesday, or what is it, Tuesday now?
Today's Tuesday.
Now we're just, I did this on Sunday, but now here we're on Tuesday just talking about it. So this is just more of the death cult, right? The woke projection. People are trying to make ivermectin synonymous with horse dewormer because for whatever reason people are just very cultish around COVID and the vaccine. And I don't understand it. It's weird. It doesn't mean that ivermectin could be used to treat COVID, but it doesn't mean that ivermectin is only a horse dewormer. It won the Nobel Prize, right?
The creator of it, I have his name right here actually, and you guys could go look this up. His name is William Campbell, and he won the Nobel Prize in 2015. And let's see, it's for that's 2015 Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine was awarded to William C. Campbell. So the guy who created ivermectin has been awarded for this. There's multiple uses for it. We're not saying COVID is one of them. Get it straight, YouTube. But so things like lice, rosacea, I think some viruses, not COVID, but there are other viruses that you could take.
Humans, yes.
And it's been around since ivermectin was discovered in 1975. So there's more knowledge and history and testing in humans and animals than there is the vaccine, if you think about it,
So it's a weird misinformation campaign. And what's funny is there's no disclaimer on Twitter.
No, it's not getting
anywhere
taken down.
else it was distributed. There's nothing on it. Even the photo of they changed it now on their official story. But
you said this was photoshopped.
The photo is not photoshopped. This is a fake photo. This is not a photo from an Oklahoma hospital. These are not patients that are waiting because of ivermectin overdoses. What month is it? Was this August, right?
Yeah.
Why are these people wearing insanely hot
hoodies and jackets? Yeah.
Because this is a photo from like January of some other medical thing going on in Oklahoma that they just like poached the photo and put it into the article. It's very lazy journalism all around, even on the photo.
Nefarious.
Right?
It's nefarious.
I spend more time on our cover photo for each episode than they did for the Rolling Stone did.
It must be nice.
This.
It must be nice. I guess when you get to this, to the level Rolling Stones is, you just use that.
Yeah.
Well, this is a children's birthday. They don't care. And after they got called out on this, they only changed the article and didn't change the headline because they know the sheep only read headlines.
That is true. Right. Yeah. Well, they did change the headline but they didn't change the tweet.
Right.
You can't really change the tweet, but it took a while for them to change the headline, though.
So it makes you think too. There's constantly saying that there's a bed shortage in Florida due to the spike in COVID. You know what I mean? How many times are
Maybe I gotta start calling Florida hospitals.
How many times are we really going to be lied to or told the truth? We already caught a red-handed lie here. Are there really an influx in Florida? What's really going on overseas? We can't trust any of the numbers. No. If propaganda
you can't trust the media.
No,
let's put it that way.
No, propaganda has reached the Rolling Stones of all places. So there's very few people left you could trust. Just us, really.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind though going forward. If I see more Florida hospital
or any
stuff,
because
it doesn't hurt. It's easy. You just Google, you Google the places, their phone number's right there. You call them up and ask them. Maybe they give you an answer, maybe they don't.
Yeah, and on top of it too, it's always going to be like Florida, Texas, like some like Republican red state.
Yeah,
it's never going to be like New York is overdosing on ivermectin.
It's all part of the plan.
Nefarious. Nefarious. It's not even a conspiracy anymore. It's a spoiler at this point.
You want to go on to the next?
You want to do yours, or you want?
Yeah, go with yours before I get into.
All right, so we don't have a lot of information on it yet, and stupid me sent the wrong article that I was supposed to read, but I mean, it ended up being about Fauci lying anyway, so I have some backup for that. There is a new variant that is emerging in the world of COVID called the Mu. I believe it's called the Mu variant.
Yeah, or Mu.
It's MU. Yeah, the MU variant. So I caught Fauci, a few weeks ago or a few days ago saying, it's a new variant, but it's not of concern yet. Yeah, and he added in that yet, because the yet is once everybody's tired of Delta, 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 it'll be MU, MU, MU. So I did do a little bit of research. I was reading an article on it. And for a variant, I feel like we're being misled again by Fauci, because we're going to get into how misleading of a person he is. He's out there on TV and on the internet saying that this isn't of a concern yet. But then I read another article that the MU variant is found in 49 states out of America. Kind of concerning if it's been in just about every single state in America. Then I did a little bit more reading. For some reason, COVID, with every new variant, instead of getting weaker like most viruses do, not all, but like some viruses do, it gets stronger and smarter. And apparently, the MU variant, I don't have solid research on this yet, is resistant to antibodies. So the big argument is, if you already had COVID, you have natural immunity because you have antibodies in your system. So you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to, but maybe you should, if you want to, take the vaccine. And it just so happened that this virus mutated and ended one of the biggest arguments for the pro-vaccine side. Now that COVID, MU COVID, whatever, the Mu variant has evolved, even if you have antibodies, you could still get COVID now.
Right, we're going to get antibodies from getting vaccinated also, so like it's almost like there's nothing you can do against this new one.
Yes, except, take the booster shots and the Pfizer pills 500 times.
Except just, lay down and accept totalitarian.
Yeah, or die. So I just found it so strange that, like, the big argument is, okay, well, we have antibodies and natural immunity, and now here comes the new variant that does, even if you have natural immunities, it just skirts right over that.
Yeah.
There was a study out of
how many, like, I don't know anything. I'm not a virologist. I don't know jack shit about this stuff. But I mean, is it all possible? Yeah, maybe.
Oh, 100. Well, yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't know anything about this, but this doesn't sound very fucking likely. That every time, like, we kind of get this thing under control. Like, we got the first wave, the original one kind of under control. And here comes Delta. Okay. Now we kind of got Delta under control now. Well, okay. Well, now there's another one coming that's even, the worst boogeyman. I don't know. Like, that. It's a lot to ask of me to believe. You know what I mean? And I think one problem is when I talk to Natasha about this stuff, she's always like, why are people getting their information from the media? Yes, she's right, because they're pushing an agenda narrative. She goes to, like, medical journals and things like that.
But if you get your sorry to interrupt you, if you get your information from medical journals and professionals, the media demonizes you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't mean those people also are not outside of being able to be, like, captured
corrupted
by interest or corrupted.
Exactly.
Doctors used to say that smoking cigarettes were good for you.
I remember an old advertisement. If your breath stings from smoking, switch to menthol and your breath will smell better. Yeah.
So again, we're not doctors. No. We're not virologists. We don't know jack shit. But, I don't know how many times you're going to ask me to believe there's another deadly variant around the corner that is, way worse than the other one.
Yeah. There's no new methods of testing it. Everything was going to go back to normal when we got the vaccine. Then the Delta variant came. Then, you get your booster, everything's going to go back to normal. Now the MU variant comes. It's
You know what's crazy too?
not only is politicians and the CDC moving the goalpost, COVID has figured out a way to move the goalpost.
It has, yeah. It's very, very smart. What's interesting too about all the variants that have come into America, did not originate within America. So the
Right.
people arguing, well, we need to get, everyone needs to get vaccinated because that will stop the variants from, like being created and spreading. Well, these variants were not created
Right.
within America. The Delta, I believe, came from India,
Yep.
and this Mu is from
South
China, or
America.
South America,
I think
right?
it's like
So,
Colombia or something. I'm not 100%
it's
sure.
outside the realm of our control, even if you want to say that there is any possible control we could have on it. So I don't understand. Your argument still holds no water. Unless you're going to like completely wall off the country and seal it.
Oh, well, walls are racist.
Right, they are. Right, which there's no intention of doing. These variants that are created elsewhere are going to make their way in.
Yep.
You know?
There was a study that I started to read, but I got busy at work, where the doctor was like saying that if we keep not we America as a nation, but any large group of people dealing with a virus or a pandemic that is evolving, such as COVID, if you constantly put all your focus and effort in the vaccine beating the virus, the only thing the virus is going to do next is evolve to be superior than the vaccine.
Yeah, I've heard that theory before. Again, not doctors, but I've heard the theory before that we kind of created a vaccine so quickly that we didn't give our bodies any time to figure out like the natural immunity part en masse. So like we're in a weird, almost uncharted waters for a virus before, and maybe I don't know.
Which makes it all sound more nefarious and even bigger the nefarious news we're about to drop now.
Yeah. So, The Intercept came out with an article or was it yesterday? Yesterday night, late. And it says, new details emerge about coronavirus research at Chinese lab. More than 900 pages of materials related to U.S.-funded coronavirus research in China were released following a FOIA lawsuit by The Intercept. FOIA is Freedom of Information Act. So you can go and get documents sometimes from the government by suing. So The Intercept did this. And these documents, they provide details of U.S.-funded research. Let's skip this. So the 900 pages of documents detailing the work of EcoHealth Alliance, a U.S.-based health organization that used federal money to fund bat coronavirus research at the Chinese laboratory. The trove of documents includes two previously unpublished grant proposals that were funded by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, as well as project updates related to EcoHealth Alliance's research, which has been scrutinized and amid increased interest in the origins of the pandemic. Don't forget, the people that are in charge of these organizations are Dr. Fauci and Peter Daszak, who worked very closely together in terms of funding. The documents were released in connection with the ongoing Freedom of Information Act. This is a roadmap to high-risk research that could have led to the current pandemic, said Gary Ruskin, Executive Director of U.S. Right to Know, a group that has been investigating the origins of COVID-19. One of the grants, titled Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence, outlines an ambitious effort led by EcoHealth Alliance President Peter Daszak to screen thousands of bat samples for novel coronaviruses. The research also involved screening people who work with live animals. The documents contain several critical details about the research in Wuhan, including the fact that key experimental work with the humanized mice, which is just weird in its own. They have
human cells in a mouse.
Humanized mice was conducted at a biosafety level 3 lab at Wuhan University Center for Animal Experiment, and not at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, as was previously assumed. The documents raise additional questions about the theory that the pandemic may have begun in a lab accident, an idea that Daszak has aggressively dismissed. The bat coronavirus grant provided EcoHealth Alliance with a total of $3.1 million, including $600,000 for the Wuhan Institute of Virology, used in part to identify and alter bat coronaviruses likely to infect humans. Even before the pandemic, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Let's get to the juicy part of this because there's a lot here.
I don't know, it kind of sounded like you were just getting into how they were.
The next part is saying the Many scientists were concerned about the potential dangers associated with such experiments. The grant proposal acknowledges some of these dangers. The grant proposal acknowledges the danger itself.
So this is like what I said back when we were talking about Peter Daszak. And so remember, like, the argument was like, well, the NIH gave the money to EcoHealth, and it's kind of not NIH's fault what they spend the money
on. Yeah.
But I said they know where this money is going. That's the grant proposal.
Right.
It's just proof now that the grant proposal was like, look, you're going to give us money for A, B, and C, and B and C might be really effing dangerous.
Yeah.
I knew they knew where this money was going from.
The grant proposal acknowledges some of these dangers. Fieldwork involves the highest risk of exposure to SARS or other COVs, while working in caves with the high bat density overhead and the potential for fecal dust to be inhaled. Like where these...
I guess they were like in the actual cave studying.
Yeah, like studying these bats, trying to get the viruses. Remember, gain of function is like you get viruses, study them, like beef them up in the lab to make them more dangerous so you could study what it's like when a virus becomes more dangerous so you can prepare for the possibility of in the future a random deadly virus might come, and you'll have something in place to combat it.
Right. Funny how we did function research on this, and we had nothing to combat it with.
Well, they did have this vaccine, right? According to Richard E. Bright, a molecular biologist at Rutgers University, the documents contain critical information about the research done in Wuhan, including about the creation of novel viruses. The viruses they constructed were tested for their ability to infect mice that were engineered to display human-type receptors on their cell. E. Bright wrote to The Intercept after reviewing the documents, blah, 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 blah. He made it clear that there are two different types of novel coronaviruses were able to infect humanized mice. While they were working on SARS-related coronavirus, they were carrying out a parallel project at the same time on MERS-related coronavirus, E. Bright said, referring to the virus that causes Middle East respiratory syndrome. So what he's trying to say is that they were working on viruses that are very similar to COVID-19, right? He's not explicitly saying what happened, but he's kind of pointing in the direction that they're working on viruses like this.
And this was all funded by Fauci's NIH.
So now, outside of this article, this guy Richard H. Ebright, who's like he's a professor at Rutgers University who's like in this stuff. I don't know exactly.
He's in New Jersey. We should give him a call.
He tweeted a couple of things that are way more spicy outside of the article. Maybe The Intercept chose to keep these things out of the article because it was too spicy. Glenn Greenwald was criticizing The Intercept because saying that it seemed like they were trying to disprove the lab leak theory and they accidentally proved it or provided more information, bolstering it.
The Intercept actually ran a piece that the last time Rand Paul and Fauci went head to head on like how wrong like Rand Paul is, and I think that's what led that. Okay,
I'm gonna get into all that. So the last piece that Richard H. Ebright tweeted here, in response to the last thing I said about it being SARS, MERS related coronavirus they were researching, he says the documents make it clear that assertions by the NIH director Francis Collins and the NIAID director Anthony Fauci that the NIH did not support gain-of-function research or potential pandemic pathogen enhancement at the Wuhan Institute of Virology are untruthful. This guy is straight up calling out Fauci, saying that the statements he made where he was being questioned by Rand Paul, Rand Paul said, did you not fund gain-of-function research in Wuhan? And Dr. Fauci said, no, I didn't. We did not at all. Point blank, stop, no. This new information directly contradicts what Dr. Fauci said, and he said it under oath in a congressional hearing, right? So I originally had said, I don't think Fauci immediately needed to be brought up on criminal charges. I think an investigation needs to happen. But now I'm going to change my position. Now he probably does deserve criminal charges right off the bat because it does, I'm not an investigator or whatever, but according to this stuff, it appears like, yes, he perjured himself in all those back and forths with Rand Paul. And I got to hand it to Rand Paul. He was playing the long game here, and he probably set him up knowing that, eventually we'll get to the bottom of this, and this guy's going to lie here instead of telling the truth, because none of these government assholes tell the truth or ever hold themselves accountable.
And what I was just reading before when we were going over our stuff, Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I know Rand Paul said something today. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Fauci's own words during his questioning. I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement, Fauci said. He added that the research Paul referenced was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Fauci added, you do not know what you were talking about, quite frankly, and I want to say that officially. So right here. So I don't have the authority to say these 900 pages are official, but they're pretty spot on, I would assume.
They were they were like gotten by the Freedom of Information Act, from basically, these entities that they're from.
Yep.
Through legal processes. It's not like some right. It's not like me and you, snuck in the office and took papers out of the drawer.
Found a secret flash drive that had this all on it. Right. Yeah. So right there, Fauci perjured himself.
Yeah. Let's go to Senator Rand Paul. He tweeted this before. I've already asked the Department of Justice to review Fauci's testimony for lying to Congress. This report should make it abundantly clear that he needs to be held accountable. So yeah, he says public documents revealing the extent of U.S. funding of coronavirus research in Wuhan show that the head of the NIAID, Dr. Fauci, lied during his previous testimony to Congress. This is what Rand Paul is saying. So yes, as we've said a million times, how did this is the guy in charge of everything. The guy in charge of everything most likely is implicated in maybe creating the thing, and he's still left in charge. Well, is facing no accountability. Yep. He, at minimum, needs to lose his job. We put somebody else in charge of that position who tries to, start on a clean slate and give us the truth. That's the only way we reconcile our political differences here on COVID. You can't have a guy who's compromised, and everybody people on the left don't even like Fauci anymore. He serves no purpose.
Remember when his emails were revealed? Even back then, his emails were questionable. His flip-flopping on the mask. Peter Daszak just, thank God you didn't go with the lab leak theory. He's just, Peter Daszak is just as guilty as Fauci. Yeah. He needs to be brought up and questioned and investigated.
Me and you know this stuff by just, assuming it, right? Yeah. We were right by just assuming it. But as we do these podcasts, I try and lay out, the case as why we're not full of shit.
Yeah.
Or we were wrong or whatever. I mean, maybe we are wrong here and there, but,
This time there needs to be some type of accountability. It's getting to the point like it was with Como, where it was all right, how much are we really going to let them get away? Okay, it's 9 women, all the nursing homes, something.
How much smoke does there need to be before you say it's fire?
Exactly.
What I mean? I don't understand how anyone could justify that he is going to maintain his cushy job, the highest paid federal employee. He needs to lose his job at minimum, and now he needs to face criminal charges and a full investigation because he, where there's smoke, there's fire. He possibly funded the creation of COVID-19, which came back to bite us in the ass. Well, and lied about it.
They even if he wasn't, giving them the money to create COVID-19, he knew what the money was going to, and he told us otherwise.
Right.
So
he just lied and lied and lied. That's what the government does.
Yep.
It's not just him. There's probably a million other people underneath him who also lied through their teeth. Joe Biden lied through his teeth. Donald Trump lied through his teeth about everything from the very begining. They all lie. None of them tell you the truth. Jen Psaki, Kayleigh McKinney. They all fucking lie.
There's zero accountability.
And I don't know how, like I said before, he needs to lose his job. They put somebody else in there, clean slate, tell us the truth. Would I even believe that guy? No.
Because they'll take that chick from the CDC or something. You know what I mean? They'll just get another establishment hack in there that's just gonna run it the same way they want it to. Look, there's too much nefarious actions behind everything we're seeing to just blindly believe what CNN says. We already showed you propaganda that came out of a false story from the Rolling Stones. We're just talking about how a new variant is strong enough to go around your antibodies and natural immunity. And now here we are with Fauci caught red-handed lying once again. At what point is it enough that your new religion is kind of garbage?
Your cult.
Your cult.
Yeah. I love Glenn Greenwald, bro. He's taking shots at Rachel Maddow.
That's great.
Saying not only has she left her tweet, but she's still trying to mislead people to believe it's true. Oh, I didn't even see this. Hold on. Okay, Rachel Maddow tweeted 4 hours ago. Yeah, 4 hours ago. Two okay. Hospitals have chimed in on this now. The one saying they had ivermectin patients in the ER, adding to the congestion caused by COVID. Another saying they haven't. Yeah. So she's still trying to say that. Yeah, there's hospitals.
The
having
agenda
this
is strong with this one.
Oh my God, man.
That's medical misinformation. If we were to say ivermectin can cure A, B, and C, YouTube would take this down.
Yeah,
if we were to say that
maybe ban our channel.
Yeah, on Instagram, there'd be a big disclaimer. These people are lying for a reason. They're looking for the panic. They're looking for the fear. You're being led in the wrong direction, people. I mean, and it's, all of our listeners are either going to go and do research on this or already know about it.
Yeah.
Go tell a friend. Present the facts to friends that don't listen to this.
You know what they'll do? It's hard to find this stuff out. Even me today, like I had a long day at work, and like I'm trying to, like look into this article. There's not enough hours in the day to do so, right? And that's why a lot of people listen to podcasts or get their news from somewhere else, because they don't have the time to do the research, disseminate the information, and then you're reliant upon that person, being truthful,
whether they're establishment hack or not.
Integrity, right? What can I say?
My new plan for arguing with people is when I've done something, when I've done research on something. So we did research on what ivermectin does, not for COVID, what ivermectin, the award-winning drug, actually does. And it's also the WHO's one of the most essential medicines as well. It's been prescribed millions of times. So I gather facts like that. The WHO describes it as an essential drug. The creator won the Nobel Prize. It's used for A, B, and C. C is not COVID. And you present,
I like the way you put it.
And you present that to somebody who is part of the cult, and they say, no, that's false news. Okay, so this is my new approach to people like this. Okay, where did you do research on ivermectin? No, you didn't. So what's your research? Twitter and okay, well, I did the research. How am I wrong and you didn't do any research? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to make the argument about the subject anymore. I want to make the argument about,
did you look into it?
Yeah, right. You didn't look into this, but I'm wrong. I did my 2, 3, even if it's 5 minutes of research, it's 5 more minutes than you did.
Right.
You know
Zero. Yeah. Unfortunately, too many people are just regurgitating what they hear or told.
Yeah.
And people are banking on the fact that like the people at the top are banking on the fact that a lot of people just drones that just do as commanded, just like the drones bombing people in Iraq and Afghanistan.
There was a meme that says, "You call me a conspiracy theorist for doing research, but you blindly listen to the television every night."
Yeah.
I mean, who's really at fault here? The lazy bum sitting on the couch or the guy reading a medical journal?
Yeah. It wasn't just Rachel Maddow either. It was Joy Reid was also spewing this story, which is completely false. And then they will face no repercussions for sharing fake news.
And next week,
me and you, the reason why we have to keep saying over and over again, the disclaimer, COVID-19 is not approved for use and treatment. Ivermectin is not approved. Is because in the YouTube guidelines, it specifically says you can't talk about that because it's not, and they'll kick you off YouTube. And if we allow the way we've spoken about this before, like if we allow that to happen, that's a stupid way to get kicked off of YouTube. Like, I know the rules, I see what they are, don't agree with them, but if I just knowingly break the rules and then YouTube kicks us off, then we can't talk about the million other problems that's on there.
That's a problem. These heads of mainstream media can spread medical misinformation, but social media has the balls to completely decimate any small-time person for medical misinformation.
Independent media.
Independent media
destroyed by this,
they deem medical misinformation. So I guess if we had a job at CNN or MSNBC, we could have this conversation and we'd be fine.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
Right. We'd be getting paid top dollar
Yeah.
to do it too. You know, unlike now we're getting paid nothing.
Yeah.
But they, you know, like Joy Reid is getting paid and Rachel Maddow is getting paid, I'm sure, millions of dollars to just make up whatever fucking shit they want to push. They're just being told what to say.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm almost positive that every newscast in America that's not independent gets the email in the morning from, you know, george.s@gmail.com.
There's, you know, I'm sure there's like a round table meeting, you know, every morning, early in the morning. What are we going to talk today? What are we going to push today? You know?
Everybody gets the same exact headlines and the same exact talking points, and the bobbleheads go blah, 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 blah,
you know,
blah,
when
blah.
we do a podcast, we discuss it ahead of time, like, what are we going to talk about today? But it's not like, what agenda are we going to push
Well,
today?
yeah,
It's like,
the establishment doesn't give us a phone call and be like, all right, listen, guys, we're going to push horse dewormer, and the 2020 election was the most fair and equal election ever.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Chris talk before a podcast, and like, I heard about this. I heard about this. Well, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. Sometimes we share notes. Sometimes we don't, so we can see each other's reactions. It depends. You know, but we're not, like, crafting a narrative here.
No.
Yeah. So that's all I had. What else you had?
The last little topic, let's talk about Kamala Harris.
Okay.
And also, I guess we'll get into the Newsome recall election, because that is 1 week from today. And I'm warning you, California, do the right thing.
Don't fuck me over.
Yeah.
I want to celebrate two governors going down that we
you
don't
fuck
like.
me, I'm gonna fuck you. So I get it, and like I'm 100%. I know your answer, but what the people that make up the state of California band together and did what they needed to do to start this recall election, because they do not like the way Newsome is running California, mainly because of how bad he did during the pandemic, which is fair. And the people of California are using their rights properly. They're not storming the Capitol. They're not burning down City Hall. They did it correctly. And now there's this recall vote. So the people of California want their state official gone. Why the fuck is the VP in California running campaigns for this guy? And I also heard he didn't go to a campaign like a week or two ago. Like, he didn't like start campaigning because he was like, I don't got nothing to worry about. They're not even going to come out and vote.
No, but he does. He is at the moment. Last I checked was a few days ago. He's in the lead, but not by much. It's like 50 to 40 something.
So is it?
And we're only in the mail-in period of the recall. Like, the election day hasn't happened. So
that's a week from today. So it'll be interesting to follow up.
Let's use this rule of thumb. If you do mail-in voting, most of the Democrats vote via the mail-in. Most of the Republicans vote on the election day, and it's pretty close right now. Maybe we'll see some karma.
Just how many?
And overnight, things are going to swing back and bite Gavin Newsome in his ass. It is weird Kamala Harris is there, but it's not at the same time. She's also a California politician.
I get it,
It's
but
all like that's their clique. She's got to go out there and protect her lizard person.
I find it so stupid because it just shows how, and I'm going to take the words right out of the article I was reading about, how tone deaf basically the establishment is. They're like, oh, just go send the woman VP over there. She polled at like 2% in the state of California when she was running for president.
She's not the most hated person.
Yeah, and polled at 1% nationwide for the presidency. I mean, Joe Biden literally picked the biggest loser out of the pool of losers that were running for presidency, based nothing more on her skin color and her gender. And now they're sending her to go help this guy. You could be sending a Trojan horse in there. You really screw this guy over now.
Maybe they want to get him going. You ever heard the expression, the emperor has no clothes?
No.
That's basically where we're at here. Like, you know, yeah, they're the establishment. Yeah, they're the all-powerful empire. But, boy, they've become so incompetent that they can't even, like, protect themselves correctly anymore. They have, you said, they're tone deaf, but they're also just incompetent.
Yeah, they will find out, but if the way the establishment runs things the way I feel, like they kind of feel like, oh, California is a no-brainer. We could send over anybody. The sheep are going to just follow the herd. And it might not be that way this time.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So it's down to just Newsome and Elder, right?
Yes. There's some other people in there, but they don't have really any
So
chance of winning.
most likely it's going to be between the two of them then. Okay, yeah. And he's straight Republican, right?
Yes.
I can't wait to see if he wins. Do you know how racist mainstream media is going to get?
He'd be the first black governor of California.
Yep,
too.
and they're probably going to start dropping N-bombs on live TV.
Here's a funny tweet from Defiant Els that I shared on our Instagram earlier today. This is from Wajat Ali. He is a columnist for the Daily Beast, another news organization. And back in 2018, he tweeted, "You know how I know white privilege exists? The definition of mediocrity. Ron DeSantis is in a runoff with a young, brilliant black politician Andrew Gillum to be governor of Florida." Wajid Ali now on August 26th of 2021. "Along with all the other chaos, I really hope Dems don't mess up this California recall election. Larry Elder is toxic, and if you Dems don't show up, you'll have him as your governor." So in the first tweet, he's saying how Ron DeSantis is basically a douchebag, and we have this this
white
great
privilege.
Privilege. We have this great black politician coming to be the governor. And then in the second tweet, he's saying Larry Elder, the black guy, is toxic, and make sure you vote against him and vote for Gavin Newsom. These people have no ideological core.
No,
they don't. They say shit like
great.
They don't. They just say whatever is politically expedient for them in the moment, and they go with it there. That's why I love Defiant Els, and I share way too many of their posts.
No, because it works.
That guy, I mentioned him last time, he has a long memory of old posts people make, and then he posts a new post of theirs, which completely shows they have no real beliefs. They just say whatever they need to say to push their narrative, to push their agenda, to keep their cronies in place. That's all that is. Keeping, they want to keep Newsom in place. And dude, Newsom is not even popular amongst the left in California.
You want
to
talk about white privilege?
Yeah, Newsom. That's it. Newsom is white privilege. Yeah. He's what is he? He's related to Pelosi. He was a mayor of San Francisco. He's always been an elitist politician, etc.
And when he put all the mask mandates, he was out partying with
in the French Laundry, right? Yeah. The one of the most expensive wine vineyards in California. Everybody else couldn't go, but he could go.
Don't fuck this up, California.
Man, please. But no, they want to sell. They want to sell white privilege and aim it at just normal people who have no power, like me and you, or Billy Joe fucking Bob on the farm.
We have the white privilege.
They have the people who are powerless, not the people in government who have all the power.
Yeah, we're in this basement with a shaky table.
Yeah.
We have all the white privilege.
Literally, this table. Before I was concerned, I'm like the table's going to collapse mid fucking podcast.
But we have the privilege. Have you seen anything on social media about Newsom and stuff?
I saw, actually, I don't know if I spoke about this before, but I saw one interesting post maybe 2 weeks ago about the actual mail-in ballots.
Where people are already cheating?
Yeah, I saw the ballots themselves. They go in an envelope, and on the envelope, on one side of the envelope, is a very tiny hole.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about this.
And this person was moving their ballot around in the envelope, putting the camera up to it. And it's look, if you look through this angle here, you could see what you penciled in for recall or don't recall. They're like, how is that? Why is this hole in the envelope, and how is that even allowed? Now, someone somewhere along the line, I'm not saying the election's stolen or anything, but someone could just look at this envelope, look through that hole, and be like, oh, they voted for recall?
Yep, disqualified. Throw away.
Just throw it away, right? And make sure that they keep only the ones that vote for him to remain as governor.
Yep, I saw that as well. Well, you told me about that, but I've been seeing. I think they caught somebody who had a couple of thousand recall ballots that he had hiding in his car or something like that. But that was a small blip on the radar. On social media, though, I haven't seen anything from everyday people talking about how good Newsom is. The only people I keep seeing on social media saying you gotta vote against the recall are the California celebrities.
The blue checks and the celebrities.
So
they're being paid probably.
Yeah. I don't know if he did the High Times magazine, but Big Mike in California, he's a huge marijuana entrepreneur. He lives a Dan Blazarian lifestyle, but with weed. And he definitely, greased the gears of Congress to get to where he is. I mean, he's basically just a glorified drug dealer. I used to like him a lot. You got to see how hard. I mean, his entire Instagram account is part 5 of like a 16-page saga of why Governor Newsome is so good. And it's like, spent $1 billion on blah, blah, blah. But there's still a homeless.
Oh, the homeless. Yeah, Joe Rogan spoke about that,
like,
and how much money. It's insane how much money.
He's like, Newsome spent $1 billion, some odd $1 billion on the homeless problem in California.
It's even worse. It's worse than it has ever been. Yeah.
You want? I mean,
it's just a money laundering.
You're telling listen. If I could see if Newsome spent the X billion and like the homeless population depleted by like 51%,
yeah, some tangible proof that it worked. Yeah,
but this money went nowhere and fixed nothing, and this is a reason why we like. It's just more like it's another shepherd talking to the sheep, saying, "Oh, just follow us where you want us, where we want you to go."
Are you familiar with Zuby?
Explain a little bit. No, you already lost me.
He's an English. He's a black guy, English rapper. He's very like outspoken. I've shared some of his stuff before. Zuby.
He's been traveling to America right now.
Yeah, I think
he's got like the little
He's looking to move to America now because you know, America, baby, and even as bad as stuff is here, people realize this is still the best place to be. You know, all things considered. But anyway, I heard Zuby talk recently. I think he was on Joe Rogan, maybe, and he was saying how early on in the pandemic he was approached, being that he is a celebrity, blue check person, has clout. He was approached to be paid to promote like pro lockdown, pro, you know, the measures that we hate basically about COVID. And he was like, no, I don't believe in that stuff. I'm not gonna, you know, promote that. And he was saying, you know, he's like, all of the celebrities are basically being paid to promote certain agendas.
I'd love to see Alyssa Milano's bank account right now. Then
right, exactly. And they're being paid by, what do you think, like politicians and you know, the government. Exactly. So they're just and look, they're not even really that like they don't even hide it really. Because remember that video a month or two ago of that guy who was like that feminine dude in the White House working with Jen Psaki?
The YouTube guy.
I'm not sure what that guy's name is. Right, but he's an influencer, right? That's what he is. He's right there in the White House with Jen Psaki and all them, like shooting this goofy video, doing whatever. He's an influencer. He's obviously being paid or whatever, or, you know, maybe not even being paid, but like, look, come do this video with us. It will boost your, like, you know, your notoriety and etc. That's right in front of your face.
Yeah. When has there ever been I don't even want to use the wrong pronouns on this person because I don't know.
You know what? That like, situation, I don't even care that whatever. The guy's a goofy guy, right?
You know
that's his whole style.
The White House is a circus. They just brought a clown to the circus.
And here's what made no sense. I believe that video was about him trying to like be funny and also talk about like trying to convince people to maybe get vaccinated somewhat. I don't remember exactly.
Well, that's the agenda.
Like, who are you trying to convince with that guy? Like, everyone who likes that guy is probably vaccinated.
Yeah.
You think like Billy Joe Bob, who I was talking about before in Alabama on his farm, is gonna like, you know this like, you know, flamboyant, you know, Instagram influencer with long nails and is like joking around very femininely with Jen Psaki. Billy Joe Bob is gonna watch this guy and be like, oh, that's it. Now I'm gonna get vaccinated.
Now you bought me.
Yeah, I don't need, again, more incompetence. Like, what is there?
You know what I've been telling people? If they want more Republicans to start getting vaccinated, instead of giving out free donuts and gift cards to Starbucks, they better start giving out 9mm and AR-15s.
Yeah, AR-15s. Maybe have Stone Cold Steve Austin stun you or something every time.
Yeah, have a beer with Stone Cold.
Right. They're not even good at marketing, the administration.
They're good at brainwashing. That's it.
It's either that or they've just dug into their side, and this is their side, and, you know, we're going to make everybody else the enemy and fuck them. So
that conversation we had with that teacher on Saturday.
Yeah. That was interesting.
You know, like we even stated, it's like
this was off podcast.
It's not that, you know, they believe it. They know in their heart it's wrong, but they've dedicated themselves to the stupidity for so long. There's no turning back at this point. We passed. Remember in Back to the Future 3 with the train? What's this sign mean? No point of no return.
Past the point of no return.
There's no going backwards for some of these people.
That would also point to why it's so hard to get one of those people, or one of, I hate to say those people, but like one of those leftists to get them on here to debate an issue, very hard.
Yeah.
Because I think we said this on Saturday in that conversation. I think they know in their mind they're wrong, and they're fearful of being exposed, and backing up and tripping over their own feet as they try.
They're going to get backed into a corner, and I mean, and it's not even. I mean, 10-1. Like I said, I've done 5 minutes of research. You've done 0 minutes of research. You're really going to tell me I'm wrong? I presented you facts. You didn't even know about these facts. I'm still wrong. And it's not even that, like, I mean, there's certain people that I would love to jump down their throat if we were able to get them on the show. But it's not even that we are showing up with the intent to jump down people's throats.
We just want to
figure
it out.
Yeah, make it make sense to us so we could see your perspective. But 10-1, it's probably going to turn into be like, all right, bro, you're wrong. You know what I mean? We're going to end up having to back them into a corner.
When we've discussed this, we've talked about, we would come into the conversation out of good faith, but we don't know if the other person, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if you come into something good faith. Someone might be so walled off that your good faith don't mean shit.
No.
They're not there to hear your opinion. They're there to try and, castigate you or just...
They're only there to push their point, and the second your point comes out, it's screaming match.
Yeah. Who knows, man? Maybe one day we'll be able to make some good TV and do that. I think it's a good point. Wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm good. It's getting hot down here. All right, California, don't mess this shit up. I'm telling you. Doom Nation, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Two Doom Men podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The subscribe button's somewhere here because I'm going to get it wrong anyway. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Give us some topics if you want. You want to talk to us. We're always down to talk to you guys.
Yeah. Check out our doomed review of Shang-Chi if you haven't seen it yet.
If you haven't seen it, there's a lot of spoilers, though. Shang-Chi was great.
Later.
Adios.